Behind the Brand, episode 3.
Is this camera in?
I hope so.
So welcome back to the Half a Day Show. You already know who I am, but you need to know who this person is because we have a very special episode. It's not going to pan just yet, but now it's going to pan. Introducing Asiya The Artist, one of my close friends, good friends, entrepreneur, artist, creative director, photographer, all that in a bag of chips. We're going to get behind her brand, put a spotlight on her and all the great things that she does, and we're going to do it all in under an hour. So Asiya, who are you? Why are you here? How did you get here? Why do you do what you do? Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Asiya Freeman. Some people know me as Asiya The Artist. I've been wanting to be on your show since it started. Let's make that very clear. I've been around since the show started. But I really just want to put myself out there. Sometimes a little shy when it comes to my art and just show what I had to offer.
And what is that?
Okay. I have art.
Let it back up. Let it back up.
There you go. Art stuff.
Because I feel like, that was the Cliff Notes introduction.
Right.
Like,
Wasn't enough.
when I tell people like, yo, this is Asiya, the most creative person I know. And they be like, well, what does she do? And I'm like, she does it all.
Right.
Like, what is it that you do? Like, how would you describe yourself? One word.
One word. Creative.
Creative.
Like,
Knew that was going on.
like, that's literally like the word. But to say everything I do photography, I do digital art, so like digital drawings, like art on your iPad, art on your computer. I do all of that stuff. I do graphic design because digital art and graphic design are kind of different. Graphic design is like typeface focused and being able to make flyers and advertisement. I do motion design. I do web design, app design. I paint. I draw sometimes on like a, here and there basis. What else do I do?
You rap.
I do not rap.
I swear you gave us a hot 16.
No, that way.
She did. She said, my name is Asiya. This shit is fine.
That's all I had.
She gave us two bars.
That was literally all I had. So
It was all right.
I can't rap and I can't sing, but I do know how to dance. Like for real. Like that's not a joke. I do.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
we're going to get into these questions then, Asiya. So at what point in your life did you know this is what you was meant to do? This was your calling. Where was you at? What was you doing?
I was in high school. I would say, I believe junior year of high school. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do with my life at that point. I was going to join the military.
Really?
Just because my dad was in the military, and
First time I ever heard you say that.
it wasn't that long of me wanting to be in the military. Okay. That was just like when everybody asks, oh, what do you want to do with your life? Oh, I just want to join the military. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I said I wanted to join the Air Force. Just because, again, my dad's in the military, knowing about all the benefits you can get, it was like, okay, at least I know I'll be good for the rest of my life. But it just wasn't something I genuinely wanted to do. And time kind of passed by, and I was in this program at my school. It was new. I think it was called like IMP or something like that dealt with like digital art. I was like, oh, okay, like I think I'll do that. Because at that time I had already, just try it out. Like I had already taught myself how to do basic things on Photoshop when I was like 13. So at that point, it's like, all right, well, I kind of do this at home anyway. I don't like math. I don't like history. I don't like science. At least it would be a class I actually like to do. So I got into class and literally I knew how to do everything at that point. And so the teacher was just like, yeah, basically know everything. It's too late to switch out your classes, but next year I want to put you in like AP. Again, yeah, AP like digital art.
I didn't even know they had that.
I didn't know they had it either. And I was like, wow, like that's so cool. I didn't even know like they had AP for something like this. Usually it's like AP English, AP Psychology,
Right.
AP blah, blah. But they actually had something that was AP that I could actually do because I didn't want, I didn't want to do AP Math or AP English. Like that's a lot of work. It wasn't me. Yeah. Bless your heart.
That's one of my AP exams.
I took AP psychology for a week, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I was like, okay, cool. And in my head, I'm like, all right, well, if I can just hop into AP without taking any art classes prior, because prior to that, I didn't take anything. Like, you're supposed to take traditional art, and then you can do photography.
You just hopped right into it,
and
it was there.
It was just there for me.
So that's what you call a call-up. Like, that was ordained.
It just happened. Mm-hmm. And so it pushed me. It was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep doing this thing. Because I had already taught myself how to use Photoshop. At that point, it's like, all right, well, let me teach myself how to use Premiere Pro. Let me teach myself how to use, like, Illustrator, because my mom had bought me the cloud.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to my mom, okay? She did her big one. She supported me with everything. But I was like, all right, if I can do AP for that, then I can do AP photography. So I just literally went to the teacher. I said, look, my name is Asiya Freeman. I've been doing photography for a while now. Like, I started when I got my first camera when I was like 13. And this is what I have, and I want to be in your class. And I know that I had to take traditional art classes prior, but I'm already in like my junior year, and
this is still high school.
And so it's just like, wow, like, I really like your work. You can go ahead and be in AP photography. Again, bypassing all the other courses that I needed to take to do it. And then, boom. So at that point, when I realized I was actually good at this, and then I realized there was a career path to really go into it, I was like, all right, well, this is what I want to do. And I just went like full throttle with it in like high school.
And then you got to Mason, recent graduate.
Yep.
And she go trying to be humble.
Just graduated, degreed.
Just had an art show. I watched her paint live. I didn't get to buy that painting, unfortunately.
I meant to bring that painting for you to have, though.
That's crazy.
You can have it. Yeah. Yes, I actually am going to give you that painting. I just didn't have anything to wrap it up in.
Look at that. See.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll rock with you. All right. Anyway, super, really, really, really. That's not gassing it, y'all. When I say the most talented person, most creative person, like, I really wish she would change her name from like Asiya the Artist to Asiya the Everything.
Asiya the Everything is great.
Asiya does it all, or something like that, because like, so would you say that, like, when you call yourself an artist, does that constrain you, or does that give you more space when it comes to everything else that's creative? So like, you know how like rappers, they be like, nah, I'm not a rapper, I'm an artist.
Right.
So like, when you call yourself an artist, does that like limit you to just painting, drawing, or like graphic design? Or like if somebody was like a model, and they're like, no, I'm not a model, I don't even know what they would call themselves.
Right.
Freelance.
That's a really good question. Honestly, I feel like calling myself an artist does not limit me at all. I feel like if I was to only call myself Asiya the photographer, Asiya the graphic designer, then I'm limiting myself to that one thing. But I feel like artist encompasses everything I do, honestly.
And that's real. So what's your favorite thing about being an artist?
There's a few things, but I would say my favorite thing is being able to create something that I identify with, and other people just vibe with it, and I don't have to force it. I'll just be like, oh, this is a painting I did. And they're like, wow, this is great. Like, I don't have to do too much. I don't create art for other people. I create art for me. And people just, they like it. They like it. They like it. They don't. They don't.
Now, some people in the art sphere, they would say that's kind of like backwards thinking, because like most traditional art was made for other people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, when you think through history, like people were making art to go on an exhibit. People were making art for like famous or like well-known aristocrats or politicians, or, like when people were taking photographs, the first photographs were of like world leaders and whatnot. They wasn't taking pictures of like, oh, I think this is cool.
Right.
It's pretty cool to see how photography and art in general has evolved to the point where creatives can create for the sake of them,
right,
not for the sake of other people. So how do you balance doing just that, creating for you versus creating for money versus creating for an audience? How do you draw that line, and how do you separate it?
When I think of art, I don't really think of it as like a job. So it's not hard for me to, when someone asks for a commission, then that's me making art for them. Like, okay, then that's dedicated to them. But any art that I make for myself, it's just strictly for me. Like, of course, I'll open my commissions, but sometimes I close them. Sometimes it's like, all right, well, I don't want to make anything for anybody. But with even being a graphic designer, right, half the time you're creating stuff for a client.
Right.
So with all the things that I do, there's ways to just, all right, well, I'll close off my commissions for graphic design and photography, but, you know, I'll still do this, this, and this.
When it gets too money focused, you lose authenticity. And like, that's a big part of like, at least my brand. I know it is for you. Like, once your art becomes too money focused, it becomes like watered down almost.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Like the first thing you said was like, you know, I made art for me and people just vibe with it. Like, and that's what I like about your art. So you ever been in a rut?
Oh, for sure.
Creative rut?
All the time.
So when you get in a creative rut, how do you get out of that creative rut?
I've honestly had a break all year. My ruts come when there's big things happening in my life. And I get overwhelmed. I can't even think of making something. Like, it just won't happen. And that's one of the worst ways to be like an artist, because even as an art student, you have an assignment. It needs to get done. You can't think of nothing. Like, nothing will come out. And it's, for me, it's strange because I do so many things that I can gain inspiration to at least make something. And my ruts, they're just like, well,
Shutting everything.
Everything is shut down to the point where like I don't even feel the same. Out of them, it's just, I'd say just really just trying to get my life back on track.
Oh yeah. So would you say that, well, you said it. So would you say that you could use life to inspire some of your art? Have you done that in the past? Or would you say that, oh no, yeah, that's the question. Would you say that you can use life experiences and life struggles to inspire art? Have you done that? What was?
I have done that before. Sometimes like when I'm going through hard times where I am like not able to communicate like verbally, I can actually make something. But usually those are pieces that I would never sell. I wouldn't post. I keep to myself. Sometimes they don't get finished. Sometimes like I'll start it and realize, all right, you know, maybe I'm okay. But I do have pieces where I'll do a digital drawing art, usually a very expressive drawing with like charcoal. You know, when you see an artist draw with charcoal, that they're going through something. It has to be the most expressive piece. So I mean, I've done it. It's just not something I would
Post.
At that point. It's like just the whole world needs to know I'm depressed right now.
I feel that. Also, would you say that there's any art that you're actually like ashamed of or like you don't like?
Absolutely. I have so many drawings, and that's why I say I draw here and there that I feel like are so bad. I literally have sketchbooks. They just look so amateur and so like, girl, you're so much better.
Can we post one? Like, can I put it?
Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah. And people are gonna be like, no way. And I'm like, y'all, for real. I have sketchbooks full of like boo-boo, quite literally. And it's like,
any of my drawings.
I promise you, it wouldn't.
I mean, that's raw as a drawing.
That's look pretty darn good to me.
I use tape.
You think I don't use tape?
Still correct. How do you navigate being an entrepreneur and being an artist? What is that like, and is it difficult?
It's very difficult because, how do I explain this? Being an entrepreneur was kind of forced on me. Honestly, it really is a lot of work, and I have like the mindset to do it, but like I don't have the foundation to really be like a full-blown entrepreneur. Eventually down the line, I feel like I could really do it, but right now I'm just kind of lazy with it. But separating it, it can, it's iffy because again, like creating art for yourself, easy. Creating art for other people, it's easy, but then you got to think of actual pricing, how to deliver it, how much delivery fees cost, how much you actually want to like. It's a lot more into it, and that's why I was just like, this painting is gonna cost me, you think? Because it's too much, but it's helpful because let's say like I made this cool painting, right? And it's dope, like a lot of people like it. Okay, so let me sell some prints versus selling the actual painting. Now that's easy, and making little shops online, all that, like it's easy, but it's very time consuming, way more time consuming than creating a art piece and being consistent with it. I'm not consistent enough for people to be like, there she is. It's like, here, gone. Here, gone.
You know, you do a whole lot of different art across multiple mediums. How do you think you would be able to develop consistency as an artist? Like, would that be doing more graphic design work? So I know he owns a fashion brand, he owns a streetwear brand. He was doing like a design a day in Illustrator, where he would like put something together that was related to his fashion brand, and he would post them. He might not necessarily make the shirt, but he would post the designs, and that's how he developed like consistency as a designer. And then that was another avenue of like, you know, entrepreneurship for him.
Right.
So like for you, how do you think you would develop more consistency? Because it's not like you putting up what do you call the Jones that you pay on?
Canvas?
Canvas. Not like you're putting a canvas up every day and paying a brand new.
Right. Man, Jesus.
And two, that's time consuming. Or if it's not time consuming, you're paying something that ain't really nothing.
Right.
How do you think you do that?
Honestly, discipline. And I feel like that's kind of what I lack when that comes to my art and entrepreneurship as well. I'm not disciplined enough to embed it in my schedule to consistently do it. I'm on like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes a year later. Okay, girl, like, when are you going to really like lock in to do this? So I do a lot, like you said, and that's one of my biggest problems. And that's probably why I haven't been as consistent as well, because I do so much. And like, it's a flex, but it's like, it's really difficult. Like, all at once. And that's where I believe the ADHD really takes over my life, because, you know, some people are like, oh, I'm just good at graphic design, and they master it. I don't feel like I'm a master or advanced at any of the things that I do. I feel like I'm intermediate along the line. And it sucks because like, I want to be advanced. I want to be the master. I want to be like the best at everything I do. But in order for me to do that, I had to stop. At least one or two.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, I gotta pick one. But how do I just pick just one? Like, for real. Like, for real. It's like, do I just go with graphic design because that's what I got my degree in? Do I just go with photography because like that's one of my passions? Do I just paint? Like, what do I do? And I don't, right now, I still am unable to choose. And it's like, if I'm going to, again, get to that point where I feel satisfied with everything I'm doing, I'm going to have to be like, all right, well, you paint on this day, you draw on this day, you do this on this day, and it has to be consistent. But it also has to match my lifestyle. Right now, I'm working 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Back to back to back. I'm tired. When I come home on a Saturday, go to bed, I'm not thinking about picking up no paintbrush. Now, some people, they grind like that. When I get tired, I'm done for.
Sometimes you do got to niche down to go up, but at the same time, you can do it all. And you are doing it all, so.
Yeah. And then what I've been thinking about, because I think about this a lot. I think about this almost every day. Like, how are you going to do this? To the point where I even asked one of my favorite professors, like, okay, look, what do I do? She said, you just do everything. Like, you're like, literally, like, your life will align for you to do different things. So if you want to teach for a few years of your life, teach. If you want to do this, do that. And so how I'm kind of thinking how things are going to go is I'm just going to kind of do everything until I land that art director, creative director. Because at that point, I'm getting paid to do everything I do.
Yeah.
One. And then another thing was, I think just actually having art shows, like having actual exhibits of my art, that gives me time to make bodies of work. Because I haven't made bodies of work. I've made one painting, maybe 3 that look the same, but actually take the time to have one idea, okay? And I can do paintings, I can do digital art, I can do photography. I have a whole exhibit of everything I do, and then go ahead, put a few tote bags to buy, with little stickers. That work for them.
In manifestation.
For sure.
I believe there's power in the tongue. You say a date, and we're going to hold it to you. It's 1.5 of this show, so.
End of May. That's what I planned. I have a whole
2024.
Yep.
Asiya The Artist art show coming soon. The very first one. She's going to have a body of work. But before we get to May, her birthday is next week.
Yeah.
So make sure y'all say happy birthday Big 22, not the little one.
Right.
Super proud of you. Love you to death.
You more, man.
All of it is coming to you. It's all coming. And it's all going great. I'm sure of it. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
So look, that's been the episode of the Half a Day Show, Behind the Brand, episode 3, with the lovely, the wonderful, creative Asiya the Artist. Follow her on Instagram at
Asiya the Artist and Sia's World.
Sia's World. She got a TikTok, but she don't use it.
I know.
I'm gonna put it in there.
I do not use that at all.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say to the good people?
I just say, really believe in yourself. I know that's so cliche, but if you don't believe in yourself, then the things that you want really won't come out the way that you need it. If I just gave up on myself when I was like 10 because I couldn't draw, then I would have never been here. So just pray, believe in yourself.
And if she was never here, the Half a Day Show wouldn't exist because she taught me how to graphic design.
Sure did. Sure did. You FaceTime me like, how do I do da-da-da-da? Said, look at there, do this, do that.
God's plan. Education, entertainment, everything in between. See y'all when I see y'all. Goodbye.